Look, have mercy on me. Have mercy.
What's up, everybody,
on my soul.
and welcome
Don't
back
let my heart
to
turn
On the Bluff. Last week it was the Gabe Coon Show.
Welcome back to you.
2.0.
Welcome back to you. You said welcome back to everybody else.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Christian Fowler.
I'm going to be rusty this week, I think.
No, you're good.
I'm going to have to shake it off. Yeah. It's been a minute.
You got the Cowboys hat. Is that new?
I had it on 2 weeks ago.
Okay. All right. I don't pay attention.
Clearly not.
Yeah.
Never been a hat guy, but I think I'm coming around to it. I think I'm coming into my
Don't they
hat.
call those, aren't those like pickleball hats, like with the little string on them? Maybe I'm dead wrong. You don't know?
No.
You have no idea.
No. I don't know what the rope is for exactly, but.
You left on like the lightest, besides the Michael Orr stuff and everything else, you left on one of the lightest news weeks of the entire summer.
And you still went an hour and 10 minutes, which means either
That's because I just talk.
It means either one of two things. You're a consummate pro,
That's true.
or you talk way too much.
Can both be true at the
I
same
guess,
time?
I
I think,
guess.
but like that's what I think it is.
I think
is
it could be.
I just spitball until I come up with something.
Did you have more fun without me?
No, man, I missed you.
Okay.
I missed you.
too.
Kenny missed you the most.
Did
We
he?
called you in the middle of this show. I mean, that's
Yeah.
how much we missed you, bro.
Yeah, they did. They tried to get me on the show last week.
It didn't work.
Gabe called me. Gabe also tried to get me to do his show on Tuesday,
Yeah.
and I did not check my phone for like 8 hours.
It was like mid segment. You texted me, and you're like, I just looked at my phone. So
Yeah,
no, he was not on the show,
No, I was not.
but he does it spot every Tuesday. You're coming
I
back
do.
on tomorrow.
Yes, I will be on tomorrow.
Yes, rock
per
on.
usual.
per the
What
usual.
time is it? 6 o'clock?
I say as is customary on a Tuesday
Nice.
when I open the show.
You do.
As is customary, Christian Fowler, 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock. Yeah. But yeah, Gabe called me while I was on the way to dinner with my friends and was like, "Can you do the show?" And I was like, "Absolutely not. This is the worst time ever." Everybody in the car with me was pretty soused up, professing their love for each other. So,
Like,
Oh,
what do you mean professing their love?
like, I love you because. Yeah.
Like a Thanksgiving table? Like
Yes,
what you're thankful
that's
for?
what it felt like. What it felt like. That is 100%.
Oh,
what it
that's
felt
depressing. That's depressing.
Like. Yeah. But it happened, and then you called right in the middle of
Did you
it.
have to go?
I did go.
Okay. Did you?
Let's do that with Gabe and me right now.
You with Gabe and you right now?
I'm not going to do it back to you, though.
Okay, then
I
I'm not
will.
doing it.
I
I'm
will.
not doing it.
I'll do it.
We'll save that for like actual things.
Kenny, we love you
Yeah.
because
It only
your
took-
hot threes are fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
it only took us-
best production guy in the city of Memphis. In the Mid-South.
Where's the blooper reel? That's what I want. You'll see how bad I am at this.
How bad we all are. Truthfully, how bad we all are. Mainly me. But yeah, it was a dry week last week, so I'm sorry I couldn't control that. I was on the beach all week. Incredible trip. Had a great time. So
Great. I'm happy for you. I'm
glad.
super happy.
I'm glad you are.
Good for you.
Yeah, I'm glad you are. That's what good friends do. Happy for each other and their successes.
Yep.
But last week might have been dry. So is this week.
That's great. Well, I mean, we have some Memphis football about to start up. We have week 0 on the way
Yeah.
in college football, and it is. I mean, God, week 0 games suck.
There was a good one last year. LSU, Florida State.
Okay, that's fine, but I'm talking about
Overall.
overall.
Yeah.
Overarch. There's 7.
When is that?
games
Does that start
week.
this weekend or next weekend?
This weekend?
That's this weekend.
This weekend.
Oh, is it?
Look at you, man.
Dude,
You've been
He's
gone a
out.
while.
Yeah, he's out.
When I've told you guys this, when I go on vacation, I go legitimately off the grid. I do not know what's going on in the real world when I'm on vacation
Yeah.
at all. Don't care. I got my screen time yesterday. You know that you always
Yeah.
get that on Sunday. It was like 25 minutes a day.
Oh wow, that's good.
Yeah.
That actually does feel good though.
Yeah. Oh,
To
100%.
not even. Oh god.
Like I brought my phone out on the beach every day.
Not
you know,
see
just-
Twitter
just in
or
case
X.
of emergency. Put it in somebody else's bag and just left it there and didn't touch it
What's been your highest that you've gone? Oh, I need to
way
take
too high.
on my phone.
Yeah, your highest.
Probably like 5.5 hours a day or something.
I've
like
been
that.
at 8.
You've been at 8.
Yeah.
Most of mine though is from like GPS and stuff, like driving around for work
Yeah.
or listening to podcasts and stuff like that. I don't usually ever just like sit there on my phone. Maybe maximum an hour a day.
I'm
like,
a
actually
scroller
on
and I'm
my
a
phone.
prepper for my show via the phone.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
So that's what it is.
If I'm on my phone for an extended amount of time, I'm either watching Instagram Reels,
And then sending them to me.
and sending them to literally everybody, because laughing by yourself is not fun.
The more disconnected from your phone are, the more disconnected from your phone you are, the more connected to reality it feels
100%.
like you're, living in the present, living in the moment.
Yeah. So it's either scrolling on Instagram Reels or reading Bleacher Report about
Yeah.
sports. That's like the only time. But yeah, I'm an in the moment person. Like all the vacations that I've been on in my life, you can go look at my phone. Maybe 10 total pictures. I took one picture this whole week. That's it.
Yeah.
Like I'm not a
picture
I'm not
taker.
like a concert phone in the hand guy. If I go to a concert, you will not see my
Taylor gets
phone in my
mad
hand
at me
once.
like when I'm with friends or something, and like even my bachelor party, like I don't
Not take
I don't
pictures?
take photos. I feel like guys in general don't really think about that.
No, I 100 like sporting events, concerts, anything like that. My phone is not coming out of my pocket.
Yeah.
I'm not one of the what's good. Like that's a pet. I'll go there. It's a
Pet
pet
peeve?
peeve of mine. I do not like that people can't just enjoy a moment without
Biggest
having
pet
their
peeve
phone.
for me is the phone eats first people.
I've never
where they
taken a
pull
picture
out
of my food in my
and
life.
they take a picture of their food at a nice restaurant.
Not one time ever.
That's
It's going straight
nasty
to my
work.
face.
Nasty work.
Straight to the face.
Yeah, to your face hole.
Yeah, right to the face hole.
Yeah.
Food, that is.
I thought you were saying you're going
would
to
hope so.
throw the phone at somebody. I was like,
I would
dang.
hope so, brother. I would hope so. All right, so I want to open here because I
open it.
find this is interesting. We have the Win Together promotion for Memphis football as
Yep.
we're about to open the season, September 2nd against Bethune-Cookman, 2 weeks from now. And the Win Together promotion is basically $60 on the front end before the Bethune-Cookman game, and every time they win, you get a free ticket to the next game until they lose.
Yeah.
Obviously, we know that they have not sold a lot of season tickets since COVID. And honestly, I think in 2017 was the highest they had in a long time, 22,500 season tickets they sold that year. And now they're like 11,000. So they're doing everything they can to try to get butts in the seats and sell
Why
tickets.
2017 though? Was that after that was the year after Paxton left, right?
Yeah, I think so.
That's kind of weird.
No, that was the year after. That was year 2. That was my senior year.
Because
year 2
Gabe Kuhn was a senior
year 2 with Mike
offensive lineman.
Norvell. That was year 2. That was Riley, Ant, Phil Mayhew were the weapons.
Riley's second
Gennard
year?
was still there.
Or Riley's first year.
That was his second year.
Okay.
So there was big expectations.
Yeah, that's a
going
big
into that
year. That's a big year.
So that was a big high, but now we're at 11,000. They're trying to get butts in the seats, and I get it. I think
That's what it's at right now. Is 11K?
Yeah, and I think there's like some desperation to it, but at the end of the day, I feel like it's almost an acknowledgement from the athletic department of like, we want to give back to our fan base.
Yeah.
Because the last 2 years have been relatively disappointing.
Yeah.
And we want to get you back out here, and if we're winning at a high level, you'll keep getting free tickets.
Yeah. And I mean, I like it because you can say desperation, and there may be a touch of that, but at the same time, like, if there is the
Not in a bad way. You
No,
want
no.
butts in the seats.
Yeah, you want it 100%. And so instead of not doing anything and just sitting there like this, hoping
Yes.
that something happens, coming up with a cool, creative way to do it is the best route to go. Like if you're struggling in that area, coming up with an innovative, cool way to do it, why wouldn't you?
I've never seen anyone do this, though.
I haven't either.
And I mean, home schedule's pretty nice. I mean, you're going to have Bethune-Cookman, Navy, and then you'll have the 2 big games, Boise State and Tulane.
Right.
Right. So like,
They're good games.
hell, like, I mean, you're definitely getting 2 games off of $60. You could very well get 3 games off of $60. And that third game, Boise State versus Memphis, that is the group of 5 game of the week. That's going to be nationally televised.
Yeah.
You're going to be able to watch that one. So that'll be I mean, if you get that game for free off that $60,
Yeah.
I mean, it would be the equivalent of a $20 ticket if you're paying $60
Right.
up front. But
And
that's pretty damn cool.
And
That's
then if Memphis wins that game, you get the Tulane game, who could be a nationally ranked team. I mean, like it's
You know their
it's
record?
it's a cool idea.
I learned this today, and I know you're going to think it's pretty high as well. But like, guess how many times you think they've won since 2014 at home? What their record
Memphis?
is? Yeah,
It's like 58 or something.
52-9.
Yeah, it's
so
high.
like the chances of you turning that $60 into several games is very high.
Yeah, I think they're what, 3rd or 4th in winning percentage.
Yeah, they're up there. They're way up
In
there. And I
home
wouldn't
winning
count them out. Like, as much as I think Boise State will be a solid team, as much as I think that Tulane will be a solid team and should be picked to win the AAC, I still think at home those are very winnable games.
100%.
And I'm not trying to be sunshine and rainbows. They're very losable as well. But Tigers at home, I think talent-wise, they'll be very close to those rosters and what they possess. It's just about getting it all to work together. And what type of coaching job is Ryan Silverfield, Tim Cramsey, Matt Barnes? What kind of coaching jobs are they going to turn in?
So with less than 2 weeks, right? Season started 2 weeks from Saturday. So we're less than 2 weeks from the start of the season. Just taking the temperature and kind of reading the room on fan expectations and just overall excitement for this season, let's just be, call a spade a spade. It's not high.
It's not as
right
high
now.
I mentioned this last week. It's wait and see.
It is wait and see. I know the obvious answers to why is it not high. Is there anything deeper that you think goes into this and maybe the lack of excitement for this season? Or do you think it is just the straightforward, it hasn't been a great team the past 2 years, maybe on paper they don't look great? Like, is there anything deeper than that, or do you think that's
I guess you could make the case that realignment and missing out on the party really bothers some fans, and, not having a schedule with better opponents could bother fans long term. But no, I think it's about winning. And if you're the athletic department, even more so than this win together promotion you're doing, like if you're asking yourself, what can we do to get fans in the stands? Win a couple of those games in the middle of the season.
That's it.
Beat Boise State, beat Tulane, beat Mizzou. Do something like that. Fan base will start turning back out. That's what cures the ills of the excitement level being at a low. If you win ball games, you'll be fine. I don't think Ryan is just going to somehow turn into an unbelievable salesman as Mike Norvell was. That's not going to happen overnight. And even at this point, with the way the product's been the past 2 years, I don't know if that's going to naturally help a fan base get excited for the year. But win ball games and excitement will come back quick. Promise you.
The Al Davis method. Just win, baby.
Yes.
Just win, baby.
That's it.
I think they're capable of it. We had this conversation 2 weeks ago, and I don't want to spend too much time on it again. But those first 6 games are make or break. Yep. And it can absolutely – I think a couple weeks ago when we talked about it more from a perspective of the team, that it was a make or break. I think from the perspective of the fan base also, it's make or break. If you start 6-0, 5-1, and that would correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Boise, Missouri, and Tulane are in the first 6 games. I'm pretty sure on that. I may be wrong. But if you go 6-0, 5-1, you can't tell me those last 6 games you're not seeing way more butts in seats. You're not seeing way more excitement. You're not seeing bigger tailgates. You're not, it just, you'll get that football feel back. And I know the antithesis of that is, well, right around that time, that's when basketball is gearing up. I get that. I understand that. But the fans that care about this program, if the football team is good, they're going to rep the football team until the end of the season. I mean, we saw. Me and Kenny were in Dallas. Like, we saw the fans that we expected the fan turnout to be lower than it was just because of the distance.
But here's what I've noticed about the Memphis football fan base. Losses mean a lot more than any win does. And that's always been a little frustration for like players and seeing how the stadium fills out.
I'm sure. But to me, there's a caveat to that. And I almost tend to agree with that. Because with the teams that you're playing in the American Conference, especially with some of the talent that Memphis has had over recent years, dating even back to Fuente and Norvell, like, these are teams that they should be beating on a consistent basis. And when you have games like the Houston game last year, which was just bumbled away, of course losses are going to mean more. Yeah. If you are a G5 team in general, not Memphis, not anybody, any group of 5 team, losses mean way more than wins. A loss to Navy means way more than a win against Tulane. Because especially national pundits, when they're looking at the record and they see that one.
It's a good point. That's fair.
It doesn't matter who it's against because you're not in a power conference. You're not playing the best of the best every single week. How hard is it to be
I get your point too. I've always said this too. Like, if you want to take yourself serious as a great football program, you got to beat just about everybody on your damn schedule. SMU, that can't be a loss. I don't give a damn if they pay more money than anybody else in the AAC. That's if you want to take yourself serious and show your value, relevant, beat them.
Yeah.
Tulane, same thing.
Yeah.
If you want to show your value as a program, beat them.
How difficult is it for a group of 5 team to be ranked with losses?
Very.
Almost impossible.
Yeah.
Almost impossible. You have to play nearly flawless, and if you're going to lose, then it has to be to a team that is understandable why you lost. You know, if you lose to a Power 5 school that's having success.
Yeah.
Say you lose to Missouri this year, and this is not going to happen because Eli Drinkowitz is trash, but say you lose.
They're recruiting their ass off right now. I don't know if you've
they
seen
are.
that.
They
Williams
are, but-
Nwaneri is the number 1 D-line recruit,
Right.
and they just got him.
Yeah, because Missouri passed the
Yeah,
law where
because
you can
that
pay
law,
players and when they're in high school.
That's probably the biggest.
That's a
kicker
pretty good
there.
one. I don't think
Yeah.
it's Eli Drinkowitz, but let's just say
Although he does wear camo cargo shorts. He's stylish, dude.
cringe master. Let's just say, for argument's sake, Missouri's like 9-3 at the end of the year. Memphis loses to them by a touchdown.
Understandable.
Then you can be ranked with that loss.
Yeah.
But if you lose to Tulane and they're not very good, or you lose to Navy,
Oh God, yeah.
or
That
you lose to any team in the American, really. Maybe
UAB.
maybe UTSA's ranked, but the UAB, the Charlotte, those teams, you lose to those teams.
that means a hell of a lot.
It means a lot. You can't lose to those kind of teams.
Yep.
It doesn't matter if you say, well, that they have this player and this player, and they this player could go to the league. No, Memphis is supposed to be one of the elite group of 5 teams.
Yep.
It's what they've proved over the last decade. They're supposed to beat the teams in their conference. And if you don't do that, then yes, I agree with you. Losses should mean more than wins.
I want to bounce this idea off of you. I brought it up last week to Kenny, and Kenny kind of got on board to a certain extent with it. And I don't want to speak for him, but he did. But I was talking about, like, if you want an added punch and a reason to show up to games this year, every single opportunity with all this realignment nonsense going on, every single opportunity this year, especially at home, is a way to show power conferences that
Without a
you're
doubt.
worthy.
Without
You know what
a
I mean? Like, not only the on-field product, I think for the team, winning those shows your value. But if you have
Atmosphere.
35, 40,
Yes.
45 deep every single game, that means something. That really does.
Yes. I am in lockstep with you on that. Because if you're winning games, that's great. That's wonderful.
Yes.
We talked about that a lot. But if there's nobody there to watch the
Yeah,
games,
it's like, damn.
and there's nobody watching on TV,
Even if you win 10 games and there's no one there, it's like, how
then you're not attractive to,
You're not
to
showing
bigger
value.
conferences. You're not.
as much as the product has to show its value, I think the fan base does too. You have
Yes.
to show your value.
Yes, because guess what comes from butts and seats? Money.
Yep.
What is all of this about at the end of the day?
Money.
That is it.
Yep.
So if you show you can fill a stadium, have people engaged from a television audience, and win games, that's the secret sauce.
Yep.
That's it. And Memphis has shown that they can put butts in seats if they are good. It's true. Go
Yep.
look at any Power 5 game they've ever played. They
Yes.
put butts in seats.
Yes. And
Go look
people
at
would
any-
also say it would be some of the Power 5, the fans of that Power 5 school as well. Like Mississippi State and Ole Miss bring a fair amount to the stadium. But still, those games are like 50,000,
Pull up
60,000
SMU.
deep.
Pull up SMU.
Yes, for sure.
And I know that's college game day.
And that
That's
was Cotton Bowl hopes.
Right. That's what, people can say whatever, that's a once in a million shot. Not if you win games.
Yeah, not if you win games.
Not if you win games. Not if, I mean,
Like if
there's a scenario where they could go into the Tulane game. They're both undefeated, and that could be a college game day.
Now, Tulane, I got to say, Ole Miss early in the season, that's tough.
It's tough.
That's tough.
It is. But
But-
it's not unheard of. You go into a game like that and you're both undefeated and it's a light week in college football.
Yeah.
That can be
why
a game
not?
day. Like, it's not impossible.
Yeah.
You just have to control your own destiny.
And I also, even leading up to that, obviously you'd have to beat Mizzou, you'd have to beat Boise State along the way.
Right.
But game day choosing that place, like that SMU game was later in the season.
Yes, it was.
So
November, I believe.
they also saw how many butts were in the seats leading up to it. You got to show. You got to show it.
Yeah, you got to show that you can be valuable. So,
But yeah, I get what you're saying. Like you never know when that type of thing can pop up, but it's about that formula, winning ball games and
go handle business.
and getting that fan base engaged.
Go handle business. And if they're out there thumping teams,
Yeah.
and they've got an elite offense and a defense that has shown improvement and shown that they've put up some practice clips where it looks like, okay, this Chandler Martin.
Thumping.
This defense has a different level of aggression.
Yeah.
If you play like that, football is a different game. And you and I both know this, but like when there's something special about a team, or when a team is taking things more seriously than normal, or when there's a culture shift or whatever, it is a palpable thing.
Yep.
When you get a defense that flies around and is aggressive and attacking and forces turnovers and gets sacks and creates negative plays, and you get an offense that is high flying and can score points and can be balanced and has playmakers, like those things are palpable, not only to me and you, but to the casual fan as well, which in turn leads back to fans in the stadium.
Yep.
If this is just a team that plods through the first, 4 or 5 games and winnable games and they win them, but it's close and it's ugly, that's a big difference between going and thumping teams. Yes, just win is great. Win the games, but if you go out and you thump Bethune-Cookman and you thump Navy.
Score 55 points.
Right.
Yeah.
And you look like, okay, man.
And hold them down to 14. Like, it means something.
Yes. 2019, 2018, 2017. That's what Memphis did against bad teams. Mercer in week 1, they start out like 60-14.
Yeah.
You just go thump teams. Like they've played close games with Arkansas State the last 2 years. Go thump that team.
Yep.
Go show that you should be a level above them.
What do you think about those first 3 games of the year? It just frustrates me because you don't learn anything till the 4th game of the year, really, it feels like. And I guess you could learn something about them through that Arkansas State short week against Navy, but it's 1 AA, spread it out, throw it all over the place team, and then triple option team on a short week. Like that's frustrating, and it feels like you're not going to learn all that much about where this team's going to be in that really tough stretch of the season.
I think there's one thing that they can gain from that, and I think it's more important than anything else is confidence.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
That's more important than the schemes that they're playing against. It's more important than any of that. If you go out and you thump those teams, you're going to go into what's game 4, Boise State.
Mizzou. That's Mizzou in St. Louis, yeah.
Go into Mizzou feeling pretty well. And then you got
what I do
Boise
like
and
about that
Tulane.
break is if you go 3-0 and you have Mizzou the next week, it's going to be a long week of rest because you have a Thursday
game. Yeah.
So you're going to have extra time to get prepped. So I do enjoy that. I always enjoyed that as a player too.
Yeah, getting that long week.
Oh hell yeah! And you usually get sort of a couple of chill days
No
at the end of that
practice.
week over the weekend.
Yeah.
While football's on.
You could actually be a football fan that weekend.
Yeah, you get a bunch of prep in, and I think they'll need that before Mizzou.
Yeah. So, that's what I think. No, you're not playing great teams. I know Navy always presents a challenge because of the offense that they run, but at the same time, I think you got enough experience on this defense. They've seen it. Navy sucks anyway. Like, I'm going to keep saying it.
Right,
Just
go beat the hell out of
murder those teams.
Yes, that's what you
Just
have
go
to do.
win all 3 of those games by 3+ touchdowns and then go into St. Louis and let it fly.
Yep.
Just let it go. You're not going to be expected to win that game.
It's a road game, road game.
It's a road game, but you're playing a bottom tier SEC school that is still, as you said, they're recruiting well. They're trying to figure it out. They're trying to build it up, but they're not there yet.
Defense solid. Their defense
is not
very,
bad. No,
very
defense
good.
is not bad. And obviously, Luther Burden we've talked about, but they're not an unbeatable team.
No,
this team beat Mississippi State 2 years ago. That was a way better team than this Missouri team, no doubt, hands down. So it's not out of the realm of possibilities, but you just go handle business emphatically in these first 3 games, and you just go play that Missouri game and you see what happens. And if something special happens, then you carry that through the rest of the season. Then you get Boise at home, you get Tulane at home, winnable games that you get in a place where you do not lose very often. Like people are going to continue to say, like, we're thumping the positivity, but we're not. It's realistic. It can go the other way.
Yeah, it could very well go the other way.
They could plod through those first 3 games.
What scares me? Well, you want to hear my scary thought?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Those. Okay, so let's just go positive. They win the first 3 games. I think most people would expect that. You get those next 3 games. Let's say they
lose them all.
Really struggle, lose all of them. What's their confidence looking like at 3-3, dealing with UAB, North Texas, USF, Charlotte, SMU, Temple, all in conference? I just get scared about, like, what do they feel like they're playing for after that? Are they going to? Now, we've seen Ryan and the teams, even through the late regular season, last year, even against Tulane, you saw it in game. They still fight and they still play hard, but you just sort of wonder with this particular team, with where they're at, if they go 3-3 in those first 6 games, what the hell are they going to feel like they're fighting for, trying to play for after that.
Yeah.
And what does that show like? Because you're going to have some road games against in-conference opponents that you should beat, but they're at least capable.
4-2, I think it has to be the bare minimum.
Yeah, I think so too.
The bare minimum, and I'm saying that's the bare minimum, and there's really not any fan excitement at that point.
Yeah,
There
if you
might-
lose all three, there's going to be no fan excitement.
Yeah, zero.
Even if you won the last 6 games, I think people would still be like,
Like-
well, you lost the 3 most
I mean, we're
meaningful
talking
games.
about what are the home games after that? I mean, I know
the
you
home
just mentioned
games.
some of the teams.
The
but
home
what
games are
games?
USF and SMU after that.
That's the only 2.
SMU will matter somewhat, but that, you know what I mean?
What, you're gonna get 10K for South Florida? Like
Yeah.
I'm just being realistic. Like if you're 3-3, it's shot.
Yeah.
And unless you win the next 6 and you're 9-3, then you might get some people re-engaged because it's a good record. But
But who did you beat to really excite
Exactly.
anybody? Not
Exactly.
really anybody.
Exactly. I mean, you may compete for
Like
a
SMU, people would be like, okay, they beat SMU
Yeah.
if they ended up 9-3 and lost those 3 games in the middle of the year.
and I mean, realistically, you might compete for a conference championship at 9-3.
Yeah.
With one, I mean, that'd be one conference loss to
Yeah.
Tulane, and that'd be it. So you could compete for a conference championship. There might be a little bit of excitement,
Yeah.
but
keep
you
that,
lose.
keep
you
that
lo-
alive.
You lose 1-2 games for the season, then we're talking
Then, yes.
about steam, and so that's everything is in front. We know what the start of the season is. Everybody's 0-0. Anything can happen. A group of 5 teams not going to go to the playoff yet. That won't be a possibility really until next year. I mean, we've seen Cincinnati do it, and that was it. 12 team is when we May.
Because I think I was going to bring this up. 12-team playoff, Pac-12 is cooked.
Yeah.
And now you have Greg Sankey stepping up to the mic in pressers and saying, we need to reevaluate this.
Yeah.
And I just have a feeling this is going to be 12 best teams all at largest.
Yeah.
And that's going to, group of 5 access cooked.
Yeah.
And I think it expedites the process of haves and have-nots playing their own championships.
Yeah.
But I again, this is me speculating. I think it's educated speculation. Follow the money, follow the power structure. Tony
Yeah.
Petitti with the Big Ten in the commissioner's office, Greg Sankey in the SEC in the commissioner's office. Those are the guys that are going to be calling shots for college football going forward right now. 80 to 100 million per school and a massive media rights deal in the Big Ten, 70 million per school and a massive media rights deal in the SEC. They have the money. They're going to hold all the infinity stones, if you will. They're going to make the calls. And I feel like him stepping up to the press and saying that is a warning shot telling everybody, hey, I wanted it to be the 12 at-large teams. I didn't like automatic qualifiers in the first place. I really don't like it now that the Pac-12 is done.
Yeah.
So I think we're headed that direction quick.
Yeah, we'll see how it plays out. But back to it, like with it being the beginning of the season, everything is on the table. Possibilities are absolutely endless. You control your own destiny. It's the great part about football not starting yet, but we'll see how it goes. I mean,
Reality can hit quick. It can.
This is an important season for the university, for Silverfield, for some of these players with, higher aspirations. And it's this way every year, but this year in particular just feels like it has added weight and pressure.
And I think there's a sentiment from a lot of the media in the city of they want this year to leave no doubt either way.
Yeah.
If you're going to stink and find new leadership. If you're going to be good, win 10 games.
Yeah. Don't give us mediocrity.
Don't do
where it's
6-6,
Yeah.
7-5. 8-4 could, depending on who you beat and lose to, could even be sort of a pseudo 6-6 like it was
Right.
last year with Houston and UCF and Cincinnati still in conference. So
Right.
I think that's the overarching sentiment from a lot of people in the city right now that follow this program.
Let's do this real quick. What are a couple things, and we'll both kind of give an opinion on this. What are a couple of things that have to happen this year? Could be off the field, on the field, could be particular players, coaches, whatever. What has to happen this year for not national media, not even local media, but for fans to call this season a success and feel good about it?
One is the offensive line has to pave the way.
Okay.
They have to open holes. They have to take pressure off Seth Hennigan. If they do that, I feel awesome about even those 3 tough games in the middle of the schedule.
Without a doubt.
Like if they run the damn ball and create some explosion in the run game, they have the dudes in the backfield to do it.
They do.
That's what frustrates me. Bull Hargrove's a good player. He's not even they're not even thinking about giving him a whole bunch of run right now because you have Blake Watson who ran for 1,000 at Old Dominion, Jay Ducker who ran for 1,000 at NIU 2 years ago. You have Brandon
Smith.
Thomas who was solid until he wasn't because the O-line wasn't open at all. Sutton Smith who they expect a lot from. They have an unbelievable backfield. It's about that O-line. Can you keep Seth Hennigan upright? Can you give him some help with the run game? That's first. And then second, I want to see how this defense paves, sort of sets the table for this team. If they are good, you'll be in every game.
Yes.
And I think that that's important in itself because if the offense is struggling through the first half of the season, that defense could help them out and create opportunities for them that they may not have. So I think O-line, I am very skeptical about, but I want to see work out. I'm very confident about the defense, but I really want to see it in action.
I agree with both of those things. I'm going to go with something a little bit more kind of up in the air. It's not really, you can't measure this. It's kind of just a feel and see thing. I think this is something that Memphis had 2019, 2018, 2017, something that we saw the whole time. I want to see the units feed off of each other.
Okay.
Special teams, defense, offense, working together to make this team better. When the defense needs the offense to step up and make plays and score points, they go do that. When the offense is sputtering and they need the defense to force a turnover to give a spark or the special teams to get a big return to give the team a spark, go do that. Like, do your job, do what's asked of you, do it to the best of your ability. And when another position group is struggling,
complementary.
Yes,
right?
play complementary
That's what it
football.
is.
And that I think that is a big part of what's been missing the last 2 years. Like we see times when one unit is up and one unit is down and everything's
And
not
we've
hitting.
also seen times where every unit's down.
Right.
We're dropping punts. The offense can't get moving.
Yes.
They're fumbling ball. Defense is giving up big plays. If somebody needs a pick-me-up, give them a pick-me-up that day.
Yep. Everything needs to hit. It's not always going to hit. You're going to have, but everybody needs to be
There
prepared.
is some give
to have
and
their
take
day.
in football.
Absolutely.
That's just life.
Absolutely.
There is some give and take that you have to deal with, and I don't think they've done a good job of that at all.
Here's my question to you, and I know my answer. When is the last time that you can remember the team played like that, where when the defense had to make a stop, even if they allowed?
That was Cotton Bowl 2019.
I'd say Mississippi State 2020.
Okay, that's fair.
Defense,
But I'm talking
up.
about as a full season.
Yeah. I was talking
And
about
that-
singular
yeah, yeah.
game. Singular game.
Singular game. Okay, Mississippi State's fair.
Yeah.
But I'm like as a full season, I'd have to go 2019.
Yeah, I agree with that. But that 2020 Mississippi State game, defense allowed a lot of points, but Quindell Johnson made huge plays down the stretch in that game. Offense scored,
And they
lot
got a
of points.
fumble to open the game.
Right.
Fumble recover.
from
Return for
the
touchdown.
defense. Yeah, Calvin Austin gets the huge special teams.
Return, yep.
So it's just that level of football where everything has to be locked in. It takes a lot to win a football game. It's not easy to win a football game, but you need to play complementary football. Because there are going to be games when the offense is not scoring a lot of points and the defense has to step up. We saw it with those teams. That 2019 team, like that was the 10-7 game, I think, against Navy on the road. Like those
That
kind
was
of
2020.
Was it 2020?
Yeah.
Well, darn, bad example.
Ugly one.
Yeah, but just in general, like there were those games. We know that offense was great, but there were still games where they weren't at their best.
Mm-hmm.
There were games where the defense allowed a lot of points and the offense just had to keep scoring and just had to outscore the other team. There was games when Antonio Gibson or whoever, Tony Pollard was returning kicks and giving the offense good field position or returning them to the house to give a touchdown to the team. Like it's hard to win if all your units aren't locked in and aren't ready to pick up slack for the other. So I would say that to me is my key.
That's a good one.
Just team football.
Complementary.
Don't care. We're not getting frustrated. We're not getting aggravated. We're just going out there and playing our best. So that's my key.
I hear that. Yeah. That's a good one. You told me to give two though. You got another?
I just said I just said what are some things.
Oh, okay.
Those are some things I think.
Second one would be O-line though. For sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Pick up your slack.
I went on a heck of a monologue though, so I didn't.
No, you're right. Though.
You're
You're dead correct. You're dead correct. That is a sign of a good football team. That's a sign of a winning football team.
Absolutely.
Of a team that has learned how to win. And this team, in a lot of ways, the past 2 years, and I know this can be hard, this is like nails on a chalkboard to some people. They've learned how to lose.
They have.
Like they have grabbed defeat out of the jaws of victory several times. In Houston, there's no better example than last year against Houston.
Yeah. 100%. Well, talking about complimentary football, we have someone behind the glass that is extremely complimentary to what you and I do in front of the camera. That man's name is one Kenny Stubblefield. I've heard, Gabe, I know I've taken a week off, but I've heard he's got a pretty good hot 3 cooked up for us. So we're going to take a break, hear from some sponsors. And on the other side, Kenny will have the hot 3 for us.
A show over in New Zealand, radio host had Pete Pranica, of all people, on his show. And the guy was saying that a friend of his who's close to Steven Adams said that the Grizzlies kind of mishandled something with his surgery, that he needed surgery the whole time. They said that he didn't. They prolonged it, and then he actually got surgery, and now he's rehabbing from that.
Yeah, they use the word misdiagnosed.
Yeah, that's a strong word. The Grizzlies don't give clear information about stuff, and it leaves room for interpretation.
Right.
And my interpretation is that this story sounds real. Now, I'm not saying this story is true, but it's true-ish. That sounds more realistic than anything the Grizzlies were saying.
When you leave things up for speculation,
Hey, that's what happens. Guys like me just put
guys
two
like
and
that
two
New
together.
Radio guy,
New Zealand
can say
radio
that.
dude, they come out and say, hey,
And I know-
my partner said Steven Adams was way more messed up than y'all thought he was.
And not only that,
Yeah.
y'all misdiagnosed that man.
Misdiagnosed. Strong words, man.
Woo.
Strong words.
Tune in to the Anthony Sane Show Wednesdays and Fridays at 12 p.m. weekly on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
What's up, guys? I'm so excited to announce that we have partnered with Coaching for Literacy, and you can read more about them at coachingforliteracy.org or follow them on social media at Coaching for Literacy. Your subscription to Bluff City NIL is 100% tax deductible because of our partnership together. Thank you for supporting Memphis Tiger student athletes and helping promote the monumental cause of childhood literacy.
Just curious, you kind of talked about the transfers and things like that. How has that changed your mindset from a roster management standpoint? Like, incredible recruiter. All the classes, I think we had 2 back-to-back and 21 and 22 top classes. How does that change with the transfer portal? Do you start focusing more on upperclassmen? Do you kind of get away from the younger freshmen? How does that work?
Yeah, so I still believe in our coaching staff and the way we do things and developing guys. And that I will never get away from that philosophy. We're still going to recruit a high school class. Now, there's a lot of colleges out there that say, screw this. We're pushing all the chips in on this roster, win right now, and we'll figure it out. Sure. And if it doesn't, right, it implodes and bad things happen. But I think you still have to bring in true freshmen and develop them and see what they can become. And that I'll never waver from that. But the portal certainly changed things.
Tune in to Tigers Untapped with TJ Willis and Trey Lasley every Wednesday at 3 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel. Okay.
Hey,
We're back from the break.
we are.
You guys
We are.
ready?
Of course we are. Always.
Hey,
Kenny.
listen, I just want to throw you your flowers real quick. For a dry week, that segment was pretty awesome. Good job.
Oh, well, thank you, sir.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Y'all ready for that?
We
three?
aim to deliver.
You aim to deliver, and guess what? Y'all deliver every week. All right, here we go.
We don't throw and pray. We aim and fire.
Here we go.
To quote one Israel Adesanya.
Here we go. Y'all ready for the hot 3?
Yeah, let's
Yes,
do
sir.
it.
All right, let's go. UFC 292, massive weekend. I'd say this about every UFC fight, but massive weekend. Fun fights littered up and down the card. Belts changed hands. Belts stayed in champions' hands after a dominating win. What were some of the fights that you guys saw that you were like, man, let's talk about it?
I know usually, Gabe, we kind of run through the main card. Let's just start at the top.
Aljo thought shit was sweet.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did.
He left his face out there. Don't overextend against Sean O'Malley, dude.
He's a sniper.
Don't do that. How many times we've seen him knock people clean the hell out because he's
Yes.
so damn. I mean, his aim is ridiculous. He
Yeah.
doesn't miss.
Speaking of aim and fire, that man is nasty.
He does not miss. He's so accurate.
Yeah. No, first round was close. A lot of people were giving it to Aljo. It was just basically front kicks from O'Malley, leg kicks from Aljo. You know, what we expected first round, 5-round
Right.
fight, just feeling out. Then I was sitting there kind of thinking, okay, this might go, 3, 4. Like we might get in depth on this fight, and then less than a minute into the first round, Aljo lunges in, misses by a millimeter.
Second round.
Second round. 53 seconds of the second round. Aljo misses by a millimeter, and Sean off the back foot fading away.
See, but he was off the back foot, but he pressed through that.
Oh yeah.
He came back forward after he weaved.
Yeah.
It was just perfectly placed on the jaw too. Like couldn't have been better.
A lot of people are saying it looked eerily similar to Conor McGregor, Jose Aldo, and it absolutely did.
Yeah. I think there. Can I say this? I think there was more force behind.
McGregor's?
No, I think there was more force behind
Sean's?
O'Malley's.
Yeah, he said he was like that. He literally said that's how McGregor put Aldo out.
Yeah,
step back, counter right, straight money. That's exactly what it was.
What do you think? Some people thought it was a quick stoppage. I saw it both ways.
Either
way,
way.
let him defend for a second, but he was just out of it, man.
He was out.
Those shots from the top were getting through clean, and you just can't let somebody sit there and take that much damage.
Yeah, I know sometimes we push for entitled fights, just like we did this with
Let
Izzy
it
and
go
Pajeda
all the
also,
way.
just like let the man go out on a shield. But I don't hate it. I wasn't mad at Mark Goddard for the stoppage at all. I mean, the end was near.
Sean
regardless.
O'Malley is the damn bantamweight champion.
He's the truth. And this is what's crazy. I've been a huge Sean O'Malley fan since he came onto the scene. I remember when he got suspended and just being like, man, I cannot wait till he gets back. He came back against, was it Eddie Wineland that he came back against?
Big mustache guy? Yeah. I think it was
Eddie Wineland. And he walk-off KO'd him and then just kind of went on this tear. Then you got everybody pissed off, like, okay, we got this guy who's a budding star, and we're just throwing him meat to just knock out every fight. You get the Chris Matino fight, who he absolutely just turned his face into hamburger meat. Like, there were so many fights where it was just like, Sean O'Malley is the clear favorite.
Yeah.
And we're not getting this step up in competition that we're hoping for. Like, the UFC is just grooming him and grooming him and grooming him. Like, let's go. He gets Cheeto Vera. He loses.
Well, he got a dead leg.
He did. He got kicked in the calf, and the leg went dead.
What is that? It's
a
like
nerve.
There's a nerve there that just
kind of just shuts your foot off. So he had that, and then it was like, okay, you had people on both sides. You had people on the, okay, we knew Sean wasn't this good. Like, he finally fought somebody that was decent, because Cheeto was not Cheeto now then.
Well, but what's crazy too is, like, I remember that fight. Cheeto put him in a mounted crucifix and was pounding.
Oh, absolutely.
His head with elbows. I'm like,
yeah, it was not good.
It was brutal.
Optically.
It was bad.
And then, who did he fight after that? I think it was a Brazilian guy. I can't remember his name, but it was a guy who was kind of like a journeyman. It was like, okay, he got his win back. And then I think he fought Pedro Munoz, and this was like, okay, we finally and we saw Pedro Munoz and Cheeto Vera fight on Saturday.
Cheeto got the better of him.
Yeah, but Pedro is a hell of a fighter.
Yeah.
Like, he's no slouch. And so that was when it was finally like, okay, we get to see Sean against real competition, no contest.
Yep.
And so no one knows.
But then he fell back up into a Petr Yan
And then he
fight.
fights Petr Yan, and nobody thought he was going to beat Petr Yan. Razor thin decision, could have went either way, but he wins it against Petr Yan, who at one point looked like an unstoppable machine.
We can tell the story all we want about Sean O'Malley, but he has gotten some Dana White UFC privilege. There's no doubt. But that's a lot of other guys too.
And
when you're that exciting, you have to sell your promotion. I get it.
You have to win fights, though.
Yeah, you have to win fights, but also you have to be an entertainer.
Yes,
and he is that.
You do, to get that quote-unquote privilege, but you have to win the fights. All they can do is put you in the positions, and this man has delivered time and time again. He's been counted out against Petr Yan, against Aljamain Sterling. Both of those fights were, how in the world does he find a way to win this fight? Mm-hmm. Aljamain Sterling just beat Henry Cejudo.
Yeah.
Wrestling. A gold medal. Henry Cejudo's an Olympian wrestler. And Aljamain Sterling got the better of him.
Because it's O'Malley can just knock your ass out.
It's beautiful. It's so much fun to watch.
But the thing is, though, if someone can take him to the deep waters and wrestle him and get him to the ground, his takedown defense is great, by the way. He's used to it. Someone can take him to the deep waters and wrestle him for a fight, he's going to lose by decision.
Yeah. But for right now, strap a
It's-
rocket ship to that man's
Yes,
back as
for
if
sure.
he wasn't already big
For sure.
and famous enough because of what he's. Kudos to what the guy's done out of the cage with his YouTube presence and everything that he's done to build his brand is phenomenal. It's what you should aim to do when you have a spotlight and are able to build that fame. He's done it perfectly, and now the superstardom. There's no ceiling for how high he can go as far as a sell. That was the biggest bantamweight fight of all time.
Yeah,
all time.
It's a good example of, I think, especially in the UFC and really in the fight game, the more entertaining you are, whether people like you or not, the more famous you are, because there's going to be just as many people watching you to win a fight as there are to hopefully watch you lose.
Yeah.
And I think Sean O'Malley encompasses that, almost the Jake Paul style to a certain extent, except not quite, not quite that.
Boston loved him. I saw so
Yeah.
many pink afros out there.
I mean, Boston would be the city that loves Sean O'Malley. O'Malley.
Yeah.
White
No,
guy.
it was I can't remember if it was
Loudmouth white guy in Boston. Yeah,
I think it was
that
Dana-
is Boston.
I think it was Dana White talking about it, and he was like, or maybe it was someone asking him questions, but it made me think about it too. It was like, when is the last time you can remember such a split crowd where it was like there was a clear villain and there was a clear hero? I mean, there was "F.U. Aljo"
But
chants going on during the
Isn't
fight.
that ridiculous?
I love that.
That's ridiculous. What did Aljo do to be FU'd?
Nothing, but it's just
But
fun.
but you get what I'm saying.
I do, yes.
You get what I'm saying. It's weird how that works in
Yeah.
the fight game.
I understand the old hate for Aljo, but he's proven himself. But at the end of the day, just as a fight fan,
I
a
never
combat
understood the
sports
old hate.
fan,
I thought it was unfair.
I love that environment, though, man.
Yeah.
I guess it takes me back to a kid in like the WWE days. Like I was. a
Yeah,
kid in
no,
WWE.
I get it.
It just is like, I don't know. It's a different environment. It's so much fun of just like, we hate this guy. We're cheering only for this guy. You only get that when a fighter from another country goes back home, where it's like clearly this.
But
is
I think
the guy that everybody
it's
loves.
what's bothersome is like human to human. Aljamain Sterling's the more likable guy. But in
Yes.
the fight game, O'Malley's the more entertaining, and likable guy.
100%.
But it's just like hearing the straight boos for Aljamain. I'm like, damn, Boston, y'all don't have to do the guy like that. But
They lost it when he landed that punch.
Yep.
Like that's the loudest I can remember hearing.
they
in
were
the UFC arena.
Boston.
And
Boston almost. It's like a heavy Irish presence. So
Yeah.
You hear the chants from the crowd in general too. Like it's just.
it was the highest grossing event in the garden.
That is
other-
one of the better UFC venues
Yes.
as far as like fan engagement
Yeah.
that there is.
highest grossing gate at the at TD Garden other than Celtics finals.
That's
games.
crazy. That's insane.
7.25 million. Absurd.
That's insane.
Absolutely absurd. I'm not going to say it was the best card of the year
No.
by any means. There were some good fights.
Zhang Weili.
Zhang Weili absolutely
Holy God.
dominated.
I knew
Amanda
that was
Lemos.
coming.
Yeah.
But like, damn.
Pure domination.
I mean,
The biggest strike differential in women's UFC
I was going to say,
history.
Amanda Lemos just on her back doing nothing the entire time.
No.
That was so bad.
Yeah.
It's like, give me something.
Then we had Ian Gary.
I like Ian Gary.
The star continues to rise there. He is 13-0 now,
Yep.
I believe.
Yep. He didn't have to flip him off. I know you hate
Yeah,
that.
I did
He
not-
didn't have to flip him off after the
I
fight.
don't
Neil
mi-
Magny's a journeyman. He's been around.
don't-
Although his pre-fight stuff was weird.
It was weird.
He's like, I have a kid now, so I'm used to giving out whoopings like this. And Ian Gary's like, wait, you beat your kid?
Yeah.
don't admit that. to
Yeah, like,
people.
what?
What's your deal?
No, I don't mind it during the fight, the talking, the whatever. Like, dude, you're in a fight for your life. Do whatever you want to give yourself confidence. But after the fight, like going back to just roots of combat sports, martial arts, it is about respect. And even in a case like O'Malley and Aljo where they bashed each other, it was respect
Yeah.
after the fight on both ends. And then in this case, Ian Gary's flipping Neil Magny off. A guy that's had, 40 pro fight? I
Yeah.
think this is his 40th pro fight. You're flipping off after you win. Like, pretty douchey move.
Yes.
I get it. He's a 25-year-old kid. He's undefeated. Like,
He's a little too cocky.
superstar potential with him. But, like,
Man, he can strike. But here's what I'll say. It's hard to turn out Neil Magny's lights. Even when he had the fight in full control in that third round, he wanted to go give the UFC what they wanted. He wanted to put Neil Magny
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
Which I do respect out of a fighter.
wasn't coasting.
Like, yeah, he didn't try to coast in that third round just so he could get the win. He tried
Yes.
to go get him out of there.
He called out Wonder Boy afterwards, and Wonder Boy turned down the fight. That would have been a fun fight.
Yeah.
I wish Wonder Boy wouldn't have turned that one down.
Wonder Boy could find some openings against Ian Gary, though.
I agree.
Defensively, I don't know if he's quite there yet. He's a little too cocky with his hands, but if he caught Wonder Boy, I think Wonder Boy would be slept.
Yeah.
Slept.
I think that's about it for this card, though. Like I said, it wasn't super.
The only way, like Mario Batista and Damon Blackshear was interesting. I didn't know, it was a unanimous decision, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, it was.
I
It's pretty uneventful.
I know it was uneventful, but I thought Damon Blackshear at least earned himself a split. Like, I thought he didn't look like great, but Mario Batista didn't impress the hell out of me.
No, and then kind of as we alluded to, we had Cheeto Vera on this card as well. That's who Sean O'Malley called out after the fight. His only loss is to Cheeto Vera, and that would be a fun promotion to do for that fight.
By the way, last fight of the prelims, Brad Tavares and Chris Weidman coming
My
back off
gosh.
the 2 year layoff
2.5
because of
year
the
layoff.
broken leg.
Ugh.
I know that it is smart technique to go attack that leg, but Brad Tavares was being an asshole. He was being an asshole, dude.
I mean,
He's just kicking the hell out of that leg. I'm like, man, I don't want to see him break that thing again. I can't take that.
Dana
I
said
can't watch that.
Dana said he either tore his ACL or MCL in that same knee. So,
Being an asshole, man.
yeah, and then Chris got pissed at one point in the second and just planted the leg and was just pointing to it like, kick it. I don't care. Wild stuff. No, Chris needs to hang it up, man.
We haven't got. I expected a retirement.
He
I
needs
expected
to,
it.
needs to hang it up.
He came out today
Isn't
and
he
said, I am not
39?
retiring.
Yeah, he's 39.
He came out today and said, I'm not done. I'm coming back.
Did they announce?
I was
did they
waiting.
announce the injury?
Kenny, I told you this even before the card. I was waiting after that fight, though. After he lost,
For the
I was
retirement.
waiting for him to retire.
Oh, I thought, because I was looking for
I
him
was
to
waiting
take the gloves off.
patiently
Yeah.
for him to retire, and he that was the time.
Kenny, do you
That
know
was the
if
time.
they announced if it was ACL or MCL or
They
what
haven't,
he tore?
they haven't
said
announced. I
anything?
think Dana said something about his MCL.
He said it was either MCL or ACL. He couldn't remember, but regardless, he's looking at another long layoff. Like
Well, and then
you
when he comes back, Brad, they're gonna do the same thing Brad Tavares did.
Right.
Just kick the hell out of his
Chris,
leg.
you've reached the mountaintop. You're a legend.
Legend.
Just go out. Just go out. Don't do any more damage.
I've never really heard Chris Weidman talk a bunch, but he wouldn't be bad as like an analyst. With
I don't think he would either. I think he's good.
I think, and he's been around. He's got a good
Smart
relationship
dude.
with those. He's been around for a
Smart
long
dude.
time. I'm sure that he could probably fit in on ESPN with the UFC crew.
Who's his camp, Kenny? It's Sierra Longo, right? So he works with Matt Serra and Ray Longo, and those dudes are just a wealth of knowledge. So
Yeah.
I'm sure
Yeah.
Chris would be awesome on the mic.
Oh, man. Yeah, absolutely.
So I don't know what he's waiting for.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
All right, Kenny, next up.
Next topic. Jaren Jackson Jr. has been
Oh, hey there. What kind of beer are we drinking tonight? Okay, IPAs. Yes, I call that the white man's nectar.
Already then.
hello, Trey. All right, second topic, hot three. The FIBA exhibition games are now over. Each team had 5 exhibition games. The USA team, man, they had a scare in that last game, but they ended those 5 games 5-0. Jaren Jackson Jr. from the Memphis Grizzlies has proven himself, man. He is a stud out there on that court. What are your guys' thoughts on what you've seen so far?
First game, I think they'll be August 25th in the Philippines against New Zealand, if I'm not mistaken. It'll be weird timing though because of where it's
country.
being played. Yeah, but what I think is everybody has a freak out about how a Team USA team's going to look, and this team's been fine. I thought they do have some lulls though. Like they'll have some bad stretches of basketball where they're turning the ball over, not playing good defense, but they usually respond. And I thought they responded in that Germany game. It was just pretty late. They responded pretty damn late. My big takeaway, though, yes, Jaren Jackson Jr., 6 blocks, closed out that game with his defense. Anthony Edwards, good God.
Yeah.
34 points, 4 for 8 from 3. Like, my word, he's so good. And we had questions with him coming into the NBA. Did he care about it? He always talked about football being his first sport and his real love, and he didn't really grind at basketball. But we see he's grinding at basketball. I don't think you can play that well without loving the game.
Yeah. No, Triple J's been impressive, just continuing to show how good of a defensive player he is. And, it'll be exciting to continue to see what he does, but it's hard to talk about the U.S. national team and not talk Anthony Edwards.
Yeah,
Like,
no, it's crazy.
me and Kenny saw him when he was 19 years old in Atlanta, and it was like the narrative was the same stuff you're saying. Like
Yeah.
this kid doesn't really care, but he's the best player in the country. Like he doesn't look like he's really trying that hard, but he's incredible. And so to see him now look like he was an all-star. He's a great scorer, been a really good scorer. But now it's like, okay, this dude could really take a step in a straight-up superstar.
Know what I want to see, though? Because I feel like this is going to be a little bit of a power struggle. I foresee it being a power struggle with the Timberwolves. Karl Anthony Towns still wants to be a guy, too.
Yeah.
Anthony Edwards needs the ball in his hand.
Yeah,
though. He needs to be the man. Like,
the guy.
Karl Anthony Towns, take a back seat, brother.
Yeah.
Because this guy is the real deal. He's 22 years old. He's been to an all-star game. He is the future. He's one of the future faces of the NBA. He needs to be the lead guy, no questions asked. Don't get mad about it. Although I could see Karl Anthony Towns get mad about it. He has a high view of himself. I think he said he changed the game with how good of a shooter he is.
Good God.
We've seen stretch fives before, brother.
Yeah.
It's not it's not that new. But no, Anthony Edwards needs to be the lead guy there for the Timberwolves and really for offensively for this national team.
Yeah.
He's best, most impressive creator of his own shot on this team.
And it looks like everyone on the national team knows that he is the guy.
Steve Kerr said it.
Know who's sweet? Know who's good?
Who?
Austin Reeves is a good player. God, he's a good basketball player. I hate to be that guy. He is a good basketball
Stuff in the
player.
Austin Reeves.
Yes.
Okay.
He ought to start. He can create off the dribble, create for his teammates. He can shoot. He can get to the rim. He can shoot a mid-range. I don't see many faults in his game. Defensively, maybe he'll step too slow, but he's not terrible on the defensive side. He tries.
He tries.
I feel like that. Like Brandon Ingram's been awful this
Yeah.
tournament. Maybe insert somebody like Austin Reeves or something like that. I don't know.
I don't know.
But Brandon
I'm
Ingram's
not
been terrible.
Not the biggest Austin Reeves fan, but
I'm not saying I'm like a big fan of him. I'm just saying like his
good.
game is well-rounded. Like it's hard not to respect his game. And this is an undrafted dude. This was
with
like out of Oklahoma. No one really gave a damn about the guy.
yeah.
And somehow has carved out a role and he's on a freaking on
National
Team
team.
USA playing well.
Yeah. No, you're not wrong. All right, Kenny.
You
last-
wanted to move past that. He's like Austin Reeves.
I'm not going to
praise.
sit here and talk about Austin Reeves.
Damn, what a guy.
Yep. Kenny, hit us with that last point. Let's get out of here.
Last point, last hot three topic is the NFL. Obviously, preseason games are going on right now. Some big news came down. You guys talked about this a couple of weeks ago, the Jonathan Taylor, Indianapolis Colts situation. Apparently, Indianapolis came out today and said, we're giving this guy the option to go and seek a trade, kind of stepping back from what their official stance was at the beginning of the time. But what are you seeing? What about that? And what else is of note?
What bothers me is why do they say he's seeking a trade? You're seeking a trade.
I don't get it.
Like, because he can only do so much.
So-
he can say where he wants to go, but if
Right.
they don't give you what you want in
They have to-
return,
right.
he doesn't get what he wants. They said they want a first-round pick or something close to that, though.
I wonder if this is because of his health. Have you seen the videos of him walking around camp or walking around practice?
You want to know what this is? This is a cooked relationship between
I
ownership
don't.
and him.
I do not disagree. Clearly, I mean, we talked about how our feelings on Jim Irsay. Like, I don't disagree, but I saw videos of him walking around practice. He does not look good. He looks like he can't even walk right now.
I mean, I'll have to see the videos. All right, I need confirmation on this. I can't just take your word for it.
Oh, okay.
That's what Jim Irsay
I'm not
wants me to
trustworthy,
believe.
man.
That's what Jim Irsay wants me to believe. Are you taking up for Jim Irsay right now?
Oh, absolutely
Christian's
not.
taking up for Jim Irsay, Kenny.
No,
I
I'm
didn't
not.
expect this tonight.
Take that off.
Unbelievable.
Take
This
that
is a
off the
heel
record.
turn.
Unbelievable.
Take
This is
that
a
off the
massive
record.
Well, and
heel
also
turn.
he doesn't value running backs, so it actually kind of checks out a little bit. He doesn't think running backs are worth a damn. Just go get Isaiah Pacheco in the 7th round and
All right.
win a championship.
We're gonna.
Are you pulling it up?
I got it.
All right,
We're
let's
gonna let
see.
Gabe watch this video in silence.
Let's see.
He's gonna say I'm stupid or something.
Okay, what? Okay, what? Yeah, you're right. He is walking around very gingerly. That is strange.
Yeah.
That does not look right.
No.
What was
His
the injury?
right legs.
What was the injury that they said he had?
They
he's-
they claimed he has a back injury.
Sounds like if he's walking gingerly, it might be a back situation.
No, but
Well,
it
he's
looks
had
like
ankle
he's
problems,
He's
too.
walking on his right leg so
Yeah,
like
it's weird.
and he's walking slow as to like not show he's hurt.
Yeah.
like he's
Like I can't walk.
that
but I'm
is
walking.
kind of bad.
I
That's
know.
not great.
I know.
maybe there's some injury to it, but he could probably recover from that. I think it's more about the ownership and him.
I
Just click
don't
relationship.
disagree with that, but that's not a good sign.
Yeah.
That's not going to garner you a first round
No,
pick if he's walking around like that. And there's
Is it
video.
If they're asking for a first round pick, they still think that he could recover and be a good running
yeah,
back in this
they're
league.
not going to get a first round pick.
Is it a
regardless.
they're not.
James
From 1 year.
Harden, Brooklyn Nets to the Philadelphia 76ers situation where he had a bad hamstring for like 6 weeks and then all of a sudden
He
was
got traded and that hamstring was good as new.
good as new, baby.
Nah, that looks legit.
I don't know. Yeah, that's not a good walk.
Yeah, no, it's not.
That is not a
at
good
all.
walk. He's right. He's trustworthy. Christian's trustworthy.
Yeah,
But
so
maybe there's a level of that.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I know a couple of people have put out that an AFC scouts said that the Chiefs would be a team to watch to
Dolphins, where I think would be the best spot.
get him. Yeah, I mean Devon A-Chain just got injured. He's I think day to day.
Well, they have just a bunch. They have Jeff Wilson and Raheem, just these fast, shifty running backs that really can't take a hit in between the tackles. They need that punch, and they didn't go get Dalvin Cook, even though that would have been a good landing spot, getting back to Miami, back to Florida where he's from. He went to Florida State, so they skipped up on that, let him go to the Jets. Now you have another premier back on the open market.
Yep.
See what you can make happen. Now, if the injury is bad, you do have to weigh your options here, because if you don't want to pay a running back, it wouldn't make sense for him to like have an injury this year, not play for half the season, and then you'd have to pay him on the back end.
Right.
And only let him play 2 years from now. They're in a win now situation though.
Right.
And I think he would sort of complete that offense
Absolutely.
in a lot of ways.
Yeah, absolutely.
Along with some O-line help. They need some O-line
Yeah,
help.
they do. Didn't Toronto? I think Toronto Armstead just got injured. as well.
Yeah, but it's not. They thought it was gonna be. He went off on a cart, but it's not. It's not that.
Yeah,
serious.
preseason they take everybody off on a court.
Yeah.
You got people freaking out, and they pretty much like same that Devon A-Chain went off.
You
on
want
a
to know
court,
my
too.
favorite pastime though, is when beat reporters for some of these teams are like, I just named Patrick Mahomes is in a walking boot. Who gives a damn? He has a sprained ankle and he's trying to take some weight off
Right.
of it. Like a walking boot means no. That's my favorite watch.
The walking.
The
boot.
walking boot watch.
Other news, you kind of hinted at one. We won't really talk about this because it's kind of old now. Dalvin Cook to the Jets on a 1 year deal worth up to $8.6 million. Pretty interesting. Probably more so in the fantasy football world if you're looking to get a hold of Breece Hall.
But you got to be careful. 1-2 punch of Breece Hall, fantasy wise.
Yeah.
You got to be.
How do they do it? I don't know how they
How
really
they
make that
split it
work.
up?
They don't really complement each other. It's weird.
Yeah, they're gonna
It's weird.
split carries.
Yeah, they'll split carries.
Because
I-
Breece Hall looks like he's back
Yeah.
healthy.
I think
Healthy.
Dalvin. I think they'll probably lean a little bit more heavily on Dalvin early in the season, and then Breece Hall's too good to keep on the field. Dalvin's a really good running back.
Probably one of the best 1-2 punches in the NFL, right?
Yeah, probably the. I mean,
best.
that's two like
'Cause
Pro Bowl caliber players on the same in the same backfield.
Yeah.
Ezekiel Elliott signed with the New England Patriots.
I mean, the only thing I can say about that, Ramondre Stevenson and him are pretty big.
Yeah,
If you're a defense going against them, bring your hard hat.
they just needed somebody to take a little.
You
bit
better
of the
you
pressure.
better bring a hard hat mentality to
Yeah.
tackle those guys for 4 quarters.
Yeah, they needed to take a little bit of the pressure off of Ramondre because he was all they had. I think is up to $6 million with incentives, like $3 million base or something like that. So not much.
I've said if he needs to give you 3 yards, he's gonna get you.
He's
3
gonna
yards.
get you that,
If he
yeah.
needs to give
Short-
you 4 yards, he's gonna give you 3 yards.
Yeah.
that's what Zeke
short-
Elliott does for you.
Short yardage goal line back. Still scored 12 touchdowns last year. Also of big news, the other running back that has been making headlines. Running backs have dominated the headlines all offseason. What?
Trey Lasley ain't shit. He just sprayed the fart spray behind us.
Did he?
Yeah, I smell it. He is a piece of garbage. Trey, you hear me back there, but keep going. I'll push through it. I'm a pro.
It hasn't made its way over here, so I have no idea. I'm glad it hasn't made its way over here.
Keep it going.
Oh, it made its way.
Were you
it-
going? Yeah,
it
you
made
smell
its way
it
over
out.
here.
Yeah, he's weak. He's weak.
That is not a good smell.
That is awful.
I've never smelled that before.
That
but
is
it is
miserable.
bad.
But what were you saying, Josh Jacobs? Was
Yeah,
that where
Josh
you're
Jacobs.
going with this?
Yeah.
I thought I was a pro until this fart spray came around. Oh my!
I feel like I
God.
can taste it.
Oh my gosh! It's
All right, we're
This
gonna
is
have
terrible.
to wrap this up.
But no, Josh Jacobs is going to return to the Raiders, and he'll before Week 1 against the Broncos, he'll be in the backfield. It sounds like.
Trey, You suck. That
You're
is
the worst. You're the worst.
Oh, I
mean,
feel like I'm about to throw up for
That
real.
is wrong as hell.
Smells don't bother me, but that is straight up cheeks.
And why is it staying? It's just sticking here.
I can taste it. Okay. Thank
All
you
right,
guys.
but
Thank
yeah,
you guys
Josh
for joining
Jacobs,
us. Yeah, we're gonna get out of here. That's
That's a
that's.
wrap.
I hope this smell does not go away while Trey and TJ do their show. A-hole. We appreciate you guys for joining us this week. Oh, it's Poopery.
Okay. Toss me that.
Toss me that. Would our viewers be offended if we hit that up the nose?
Okay. It's good poopery. It's good.
It's just mixing with. Okay. Thank
I'm
you guys.
trying.
Thank you guys for joining us. If you are watching on YouTube, like, subscribe, comment. If you're listening wherever you get your podcast, you can also subscribe and get notifications there as well. We appreciate you guys for joining us, and we will see you back here next week.
Thank you for listening to On the Bluff. If you enjoyed this episode, leave a rating and a review wherever you download your podcasts. Also, like and subscribe to Bluff City Media's YouTube page. Head over to www.bluffcitymedia.co for comprehensive coverage of Memphis sports and how you can become an insider.